Well, I'm glad we're not live yet so that
Well,
we
we
can
are
still
live
talk
now.
about how Darren was not wearing his pants at the party. Oh, wait, we're
Wow.
live?
We are live. Oh man, that just went out. That just went out.
Oh
Word.
wow. Oh, it's that party again with the guy with the sock on his head. Remember that one?
That's right. So we were talking about how I inadvertently had the wrong microphone selected last episode and didn't realize that every time I pressed mute and would cough or something into the microphone, that was not being muted. If I press it now, see, it should be muted,
Yeah, you're
right?
muted.
There you go.
Hey,
Hey, look, fireworks from Darren because
wow.
well,
Oh, I've got my automatic mode on, so I did the double thumbs up, and that must have meant fireworks. Cool.
well, I press a button.
Oh,
See,
it didn't
that's how
work
I
that
do
time.
it. Yeah.
Oh well, there you go.
but but I'm fancy. So anyway, here's the thing. Throughout the entire episode, I was seeing my little level meters here go in like way into the yellow and stuff. And I'm sitting here on my
Yeah.
mixer adjusting the levels, and I could not
Oh,
for the life of me figure out why it kept peaking. And
that's
I'm
it.
here
You're
I'm,
getting
I'm
clipped and didn't.
twiddling the dials and moving the levers and all that kind of stuff, and nothing was changing. So I just, I gave
Oh,
up and I just kind of kept going. Well, right next to the level meter, it tells me which microphone I'm using. Did I see that? No, I did
if only
not.
you looked at that little
I,
It's,
part of the screen.
if only I had read these things called words, I would have
oh, that's
seen.
just crazy talk. I mean,
Yeah.
Mike, we live in a country where words don't matter anymore. You don't need to read
Oh,
those.
oh,
Yeah, well, that we'll have you back on for that conversation in the future.
absolutely, yeah.
I'm sure we will have loads of fun with that one.
We'll have to do
Yeah.
a special after dark show or something.
That'll be
if you know what I
exactly.
mean.
That'll be the after dark show, not the actual podcast.
The very dark after dark.
My little snide comment on the G-Men show the other week was more than I normally like to do on the Mac podcast, but guy eked it out of me, and I spit it out, and then I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that.
You've done it now.
Now,
It's out there in the interwebs, and it'll be there forever.
That's on Guy.
and
That's
it was
all.
just
That's
it was
all
just
on him.
a minor little snide dig at Mr. Cook, but that's I've done that on the show before, so. No, I've
It's
done that on.
okay for
I've
us
done
to
that
be
on,
critical of people in those
Yeah.
positions.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
If
that
we
on,
don't
we
hold
can't
them
be
accountable, who will?
100% fans all the time. There are some things that we can criticize Apple over for making what we may think of as wrong decisions or suboptimal decisions, shall we say?
Well, you can go back through the 20 years of history of the show and see that I am not a fan 100% of the time. In fact, many, many, many of my early editorials were ranting
Critical, shall we
against
say?
yes, tilting at windmills,
As one does.
as one does. Oh boy. Okay, so quick run of the show. Speaking of rants, I have a very minor opinion slash ranty slash commentary at the beginning of the show to lead into the topic of the episode. So just let me get through it. Just let me get through it, and then I'll throw it over to Jeff. It's small. It'll just
Maybe
take
I
a
should have
couple
made
minutes.
popcorn so I could just sit here and watch you go.
That's what Eric used to do. Back when I used to do these things every single episode, Eric would just sit back and just like, okay, I'm enjoying this, and then
See where this goes.
yeah, that was when we did audio only. We weren't doing the live streaming stuff.
That's it. Yeah.
Speaking of Eric, my goodness,
Excellent.
look at that.
Wow, a full community. Look at this.
Look who
This is
decided
fantastic.
to grace us with his Oh, wait a minute. Okay. So now, thanks, Eric. Now I have to rejigger a couple
Oh,
things here.
that's the point. Have you got a
Messed up
four
your beautiful layout.
template? Yeah, you've got a 3-person
Give me,
template. Have you got a
give me just a
4-person
second.
template?
Give me just a second here. All right, we got
Well, I
Eric.
mean, if it's a problem for the layout, I can just drop off and then you have room.
Uh,
That I mean, that
Oh,
works, right?
no.
I think Eric
Absolutely
joined us
not.
because you are here.
Oh, yeah, so that was definitely it. So that's what we got to do to get Eric to come on. We got to invite some fantastic guests on.
Uh, Oh my
Oh, look at
gosh,
that.
I
Wow,
can't wait
4
to
up.
see who
Look
your
at that.
fantastic guest will be.
Look at that. Look at that.
I'm here for that.
I haven't heard Eric say a word yet. Are you with us? No, he's not with us. Okay, that's why I haven't
He's
heard him
nearly
say a
with
word.
us.
You know, Eric, you can talk and then I'll just voice over for you. Ha ha ha. I'm so happy to be here. Mike, you jerk. Ha ha ha. See?
We already
Perfect.
covered that.
Excellent.
I'm only here for the free drinks.
That's right.
It's only Diet Coke,
Well-
I'm afraid. Nothing too spectacular.
No puddle of mud this week.
Oh, have you tried it yet? Have you tried the puddle of mud yet? Gotta do it.
I will admit I have not. I have not tried it yet. I intend to.
Jeff may not know what a puddle of mud is.
This is,
Not in the context you're referring to, so please enlighten me.
Oh, it's an older drink that was popular in the UK and is no longer known about very much unless you're of a certain vintage, shall we say. So if you do go into a pub nowadays, you could ask for one, but you would probably have to explain what it is. So all it is like an orange juice and lemonade.
Okay.
It's the same as orange juice and lemonade, but instead it's orange juice and Coke or Pepsi. So
Huh.
it looks horrendous. It looks literally like you've knelt down into a puddle of mud and put it into a glass, and that's what it looks, which is hence the name puddle of mud. But it tastes really good actually. So yeah, don't knock it until you try it. Puddle of mud, orange
I
juice.
can't
and
wait to watch this.
Coke. Yes,
well,
we should have that on the show. There we go. Next show.
I promise I will do it live on the show in a future episode.
Fabulous.
But as I
Excellent.
was going to say, this will tell you how healthy or unhealthy this family is. We have not had orange juice in our refrigerator for quite some time now. So I haven't even had the
Ooh.
opportunity to make a puddle of mud.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Yeah, now Eric's with us.
Oh, no,
Okay,
he's
good.
here.
I think it was
Excellent.
I think it was Zoom that was muted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I have no idea why it did that to me, but yeah, figured it out.
Spite. It was
It-
it was spite.
It's just spiked. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
it was
exactly
spiked.
right.
It's kind of a spite setting. Yeah, I just have it set up to automatically mute Eric whenever he joins. That's the deal.
I'm used to that happening to me.
All right, I'm going to do a quick run through my scenes here and just make sure they're all set up correctly. Since there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Oh, so many options for 4 people. Look at this. It's very impressive.
Yeah. It's very impressive.
Now, this is a good one because this is active speaker. So anybody who's actively speaking will show up next to me on the side there.
Oh, okay,
So
that's
a good
nice.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens if 2 people actively speak?
That's not my problem. That's Ecan's problem.
Then you get to see one person while Mike rolls his eyes.
See?
Oh, it seems to be working. Look at that. It's switching. This is really good. We're living in the future.
It is really good. It's a fantastic feature. In fact, I can even do this where it switches active speaker. But the issue with this one is that I'm not in it because I have myself specifically set up to not be an active speaker camera.
Ah,
All right.
clever.
We've got Eric. We've got Darren. We've got our esteemed guest.
Indeed.
And we've got our 4 up. All right, awesome. So we're good to go. Very cool. So, so the deal is I'm just going to do a little minor commentary / rant / oh, that's what I was telling him, Eric, is that you used to like to just sit back and let me go. And you were very good about not interrupting me because you were I think, and this, I may be completely off base here, but I believe you were just entertained by the stupidity of my rants.
Or sleeping, one of the two.
Or
but
sleeping.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's right. Everyone, if we were on camera, every once in a while I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right.
So, Mike, you say rant, but I think the rest of us just see the host's opening monologue.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Opening
There you go.
monologue. And just like our buddy Stephen Colbert, I'm good at reading teleprompters. So
Excellent.
Fabulous.
which is good because well, actually like all of us, I believe, I kind of consider this kind of stuff. I like to write out my thoughts and have little wordplay and things like that, which makes it difficult to just do off the top of my head type stuff because then I miss all the wordplay. So there's a little wordplay in here, but and
I
some
write down
alliteration.
my
I love
some of my
alliteration.
words too, so I remember things. And like my notes right here, it's like the words I need to remember: smile, Mike, wanker. I think I'm getting everything.
Excellent.
I was filling in these little, the names at the bottom here, and I'm typing out Gamet, and I'm like, am I spelling this right? Like my brain was completely skipping gears, and I'm like, well, I'm sure I'm spelling that right. I went so far as to pull up your contact card just to make sure, because I don't know why my little gears were going click where, and
I think
was
there's a
spelling it
genetic
right.
thing for our whole species about not being able to properly spell my last name, but you got it.
I got it. Yeah, no, I had it. Yeah, I'm like, oh,
I've had people ask me how to spell my name, and they write it down as I'm spelling it, and I'll say Gamet, and what they write is not related at all to what I just told them.
yeah.
Wow.
Imagine being an Erickson,
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. That's
where there's
that's
like,
even.
what is it, conservatively, about 35 different spellings of Erickson?
Yeah. Or
Something
just
like that.
Eric. Yeah.
Or
yeah.
just Eric.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Good point.
That actually Gamet's name. I think because I saw it so much in podcasts and stuff like that, his name, I remembered how to spell. I mean, I always recognize it.
Well, you saw my note.
Uh,
You saw my note that I sent out where Jeff is literally on every
Right.
single podcast.
Right.
I think there's a couple I'm not on, but that's because they're just spinning up.
Right. Yeah,
Oh,
you'll get there.
yeah.
You'll get there eventually. And that's not a criticism. It's more
No.
a statement made in awe that you have the time and ability to be on all of these different shows.
Well, Mike,
and not only to
I have
guest
no
on them,
life.
not only or pants, not only to guest on them, but to actually host several of them as well. I mean, it's not just that you're showing up and somebody else is taking the lead. You actually are the showrunner for a number of these shows. So
Once again,
that's
Wow.
very impressive.
I have no life.
Well, well, again,
Or maybe
we'll
it's a
save that
Ted Lasso
conversation.
thing. Podcasting is life.
Podcasting is life. Yeah. I have a soccer is life t-shirt, but I don't have a podcasting is life.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see if the cat comes to say hi.
Yes,
Hello.
Princess.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Ah, hello, princess.
Yes. There is
There, I'm not sure if I can angle the.
a cat
Spider-
owning
where are we?
contingent here.
Where
with
are
the
we? Where are
notable-
we?
Wait,
Oh, she's gone.
yeah, you
Oh,
don't
there
have
we
a
are.
cat,
Oh,
do you,
yeah.
Eric?
No. We do have a dog, but not a
You
cat.
have a dog. Yeah.
I
Yep.
hope it's a really big dog and it hops up on your desk while you're recording.
Yeah. No, it's
70 pounds a dog.
Yeah. I got the door closed, so that will not happen.
Yeah, as is mine. And then you get the hurt feelings. Why
Right.
did you lock
Oh,
me
yeah.
out?
Yes. Yeah. Because I have windows on my doors, so the dog will just sit there and look at me through those windows, like just
Oh,
yeah,
Oh, you have windows on your door? That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Wow, that's fancy.
It is fancy.
yeah. Well, it's kind of a bummer too. So it's
Okay, well, much, all my commentary about thinking I was spelling Jeff's name wrong, and Eric, I apologize. I've only known you, 20 years, and I've just misspelled your name.
oh, did you? It looks
Yeah,
good.
I dropped the K as I was typing it out.
Oh,
I think
that's okay.
I think I was typing the phone company's name instead. Are they still around?
So
Ericsson?
Sony, I don't know.
Ericsson
Yeah,
Cellular? I don't know if they're still around.
Oh, that's a point. Ericsson,
yeah.
They used
are
to be
they
the thing.
still? Yeah, but they were big in Europe. I can't remember if they're still big here now because they used to do the non-smartphones. They were big in non-smartphones.
Now that flip phones are coming back.
Yeah. Well, yes. It may or may not last. It may be a bit of a fad. It's strange, really, because people can, at least with the iPhone, it makes it easy. You can go in with focus modes and screen time, and limit down what the phone can do. You can even limit what you can install on it if you want to lock it down really a lot, or you can lock usage down as well. So yeah, you can turn your smartphone into a slightly less smartphone, and still have all the functions and features. Like if you definitely need GPS and a camera, you can still have those functions and maps and so on, but cut it down to all the distracting things. You can take all the social media stuff away and so on.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people don't just do that. Just learn how to use their smartphone, and then they can turn it into a dumb phone as and when they want to.
I miss my Motorola Razr, though. I do miss it.
I'm surprised at how
had a
much I
red one.
miss my Moto. Oh wow,
I had
mine
a red
was just
Motorola
silver.
Razr. Yeah.
Hey, Ericsson does still exist. There's still a company.
Oh, okay.
They do. It looks like they do not do phones. But they do network communication technologies, and a lot of that is wireless.
Oh,
Nice.
Got it.
Well,
Nice.
considering we keep getting people checking in to see what we're talking about here on the show, and then amscraying when they realize we're still just vamping at the beginning, maybe we should get started.
Oh, there's a concept. Excellent.
There is a concept. So we are. Ooh. I don't have any place to write. Okay. I know. What a concept.
did you get some new stuff behind you, Mike, or is it? I'm just seeing more.
Did I?
Yeah, it looks like you've got.
There might be some new stuff there. Yeah.
I don't know.
It would
if I
be
got
nice
new
to go
stuff
through
or not.
those shelves.
I got. There is. Oh, well, there's the little bat signal. I got the little bat signal on there.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Eric, see, I didn't want to. Okay, one more thing, and then we'll get to the actual show. I did not want to text this to you because of what happened last time I texted you about my bat signal.
Yes.
But for my birthday, and I knew this was coming, but I forgot. I got a much larger bat signal.
Oh,
Made out of metal with a good 4-inch lens on it that can project the bat signal up to 20 feet.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
that's really
That's
nice.
cool.
Ah,
That's cool.
That's a professional bat.
Yes.
signal.
It's upstairs. Otherwise, I'd show it to you. But
Realized I forgot your birthday again. Dang it.
but it's just like this one. It's exactly like this one. In fact, it comes with
But
the
just
same
bigger.
book. It comes with the same book,
Oh,
but
wow.
bigger. Same company makes it, but this one's metal. and it projects 20 feet. It's pretty awesome.
That's nice.
In fact, it freaked out the cats when I was showing the bat signal on the ceiling. They don't like flashlights shining on the ceiling. It's not
No.
their thing. They do not enjoy that
It's going
at
to
all.
freak them out.
Or lasers on the floor. Yeah.
Oh, that they love, but they
Like,
don't.
that's
yeah,
fine,
they chase
yeah.
it. Yeah.
But they
I
don't
wonder
like
what the lights
flashlight
on the ceiling
Yeah.
is for them. Maybe
Yeah, I
it's
wonder
because
too.
they're apex predators, but they're not at the top of the food chain, even though they're apex. And they need to be watching for like hawks and stuff that are going to
Yeah,
swoop
That's
down
it.
and grab them.
Hawks and eagles coming down after them. That's it. Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Gorgeous bald eagle flew over our house yesterday morning. And we're driving up to Woodstock, and there's this bald eagle flying right
Wow.
over us.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
We never see things like that over here in the UK. We're lucky if we see a pigeon every now and then.
Well, we're
Nothing
starting
very
to see 'em.
exotic.
We're starting to see them more and more, which is great. It was quite the rare sight for a long time. In fact, the last time I saw any great concentration of bald eagles was up in northern Wisconsin several years ago. But now we're seeing them around here, which is wonderful. And hawks. Every once in a while we get a hawk on our back deck and some poor unfortunate soul in its beak. But
Yeah.
other than that. All right. Well, cool. Let's get started. Here we go. You guys ready?
Ready.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what we're doing here.
I-
So I'm
I-
clearly ready.
I never know what I'm doing. In 3, 2, 1. It's For Mac Eyes Only, episode number 467 for February 28th, 2026. Did I say 467? For February 28th, 2026. Hot coffee and a slice of pie hole. Hey everyone, welcome back to For Mac Eyes Only, the show for the Mac community, where we share our thoughts and opinions on current Mac news and events. And joining me to talk about pie hole personal privacy protection are Eric Erickson. Hey Eric, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. Glad you could join us today.
Yep, you bet.
And sitting next to Eric, virtually across the pond, is Darren Davies. Hey Darren.
Hey there. Good to see you too.
And tech blogger, pundit, content creator, and MacStock presenter, Jeff Gamet. Howdy, Jeff.
Mike, Darren, Eric, I'm super happy to be here. I'm already having fun. So thank you for turning my Saturday morning, now afternoon, into a little party.
Into a little
Excellent.
party indeed. We are super excited to have you here today because this is a topic we've wanted to cover for a long time on the show. But before we get to that, remember we do normally record For Mac Eyes Only live on YouTube the second and fourth Saturday of the month. And if you would like to come hang out, ask questions, and be part of our live studio audience, be sure to subscribe to the show at youtube.com/FMEOTV. And if you are joining us live, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the chat room right over here I'd like to say to my left, but it's to my right. So if you have any questions or comments, be sure to drop them in there and we will address them here on the show. Well, as I said a moment ago, I am super excited for today's show because it is a topic that Jeff and I have been talking about bringing to For Mac Eyes Only for quite a while now. And we're finally making it happen. In fact, no spoilers here. In fact, this may even turn into a series of episodes, all revolving around a singularly spectacular piece of hardware, and that is the Raspberry Pi. But even if diving back in time into computing's history, when getting our devices to do what we wanted them to do required rolling up our sleeves and digging into the world of BASIC, or pulling out the soldering iron, which is something I actually had to do a few times to get some stuff working on my old computers. Even if that isn't your cup of coffee, the Raspberry Pi is so much more than that. not only has the Raspberry Pi become the Swiss Army knife of computing, bringing all manner of nifty uses to our digital lives, but it also has the distinction and honor, the distinction and honor of following in the footsteps of early pioneers that helped usher in a world of personal computing that was attainable by everyone. And of course, I'm talking about my beloved Sinclair Spectrum. But one of the things that helped usher in that early world of personal computing was that it's cheap. Or maybe I should say it's inexpensive. Yes. It's inexpensive, and it's pretty darn easy to manage from our Macs. And while the Raspberry Pi can be a pretty nifty standalone computer in its own right, today we are going to talk about a very special use for the Raspberry Pi. And that's to set it up in such a way that it can help shield us from the constant bombardment of ads afflicting our devices these days, something that we didn't have to worry about when using our Spectrums. And quite frankly, in their effort to recoup costs or push us in the direction of ad-free subscriptions or whatever it is they're trying to do, companies are getting more and more aggressive with their tactics. And as a very simple example, this literally just happened to me 2 nights ago. I was watching an hour-long video on a very popular video streaming platform, and that video was interrupted, and I timed it. It got so bad that I sat there and I timed it. Every 3 minutes, they would break for a minute plus worth of ads. Every 3 minutes. Doing the math on that hour-long video that I wanted to watch quickly became an hour and 20 minutes of content, a quarter of which I had no interest in viewing at all. Now,
shocking.
I know. It was quite annoying. And there's a little tip to that. I realized that if I hit back on my remote, exited the video, and then immediately went back to it, it would start up where it left off, and I could skip the ads. So I did that for the rest of the video. But that's not a great
That's
way
not the
to
point,
watch.
though.
Yeah.
No.
Now, we're content creators. Every single one of us on this panel today is a content creator. And while
kind of, you guys are.
you are very much a content creator, Darren. Otherwise, you're sitting there on the show.
That's the point.
You are
I'm
a
sitting here.
content
Yeah,
creator.
good point, actually.
Darren, welcome to the show. We're glad you could join us today.
Excellent.
We're
Thank
glad
you.
could
Thank you
join
so
us.
much.
And while I don't actively solicit ads for this show, but I definitely understand that there's a need for ads. But for some websites out there, the content seems to have become secondary to the revenue generation from the pop-up videos, the giant skyscraper ads on either side of what we're trying to read, flashing images, and the thing that bugs me the most, red herring-like links that are designed to lead us into exploring, yes, more ads. So while I definitely would like content creators to get paid, I am also on the front lines of frustration when it comes to actually, reading or watching their content.
Actually using the internet. How dare you? How dare we expect to actually read a web page?
How dare we expect to get to the content we're trying to read? Yes, I know, exactly. So that little rant brings us to Jeff and to our discussion today. And specifically, what we wanted to talk about today, Jeff, is the Raspberry Pi running a piece of software, and I think it's fair to say it's server software, but I'm going to let you define that a little bit better, called Pi-hole. So I'm going to throw this over to you, Jeff, because you are, of this panel, the expert here. But what is a Pi-hole? What is a Pi-hole?
Well, in my favorite sense, it's the thing that you put your favorite pie into so you can taste it.
Oh, Jeff, I came up with so many alternate titles for this episode, and you just played into one of them. But
I can imagine. I have a very vivid imagination. Okay, so a pie hole, at just a basic level, it's the thing that sits between you and the rest of the internet to address at least some of the problems that you were just waxing poetic about. So it serves as a tool that blocks ads, blocks pop-ups, and blocks trackers. And it's not perfect, but to be fair, there's no way today to make a perfect system for blocking all of the ad and content tools that are out there. But this does a really good job, and you can enhance it so that it blocks more content. Enhance isn't the right word. You can control it so it blocks more content or less content, so that you can find that sweet spot for the way you're browsing the internet of on your from your own network. This isn't something that's going to help you when you are, say, at the airport or at your favorite coffee shop. This is very much a tool to control that flow of data and trackers on your local network.
Now, yeah, I mean, in theory, when we talk about the hardware in just a second, in theory, you could bring it with you to the coffee shop or to the airport or something like that. I suppose, because many of the devices that we're going to
Yeah, I
talk
guess
about
so. Yeah.
do have Wi-Fi, and I guess it probably would work over that as well. But this is special software that you run on this hardware, and as you know, as I dug into it a little bit because I wasn't super familiar with Pi-hole at first, it is very much similar to something that I am familiar with, and that's a DNS server.
Not only is it very familiar to you in that sense, it literally is
Mm.
your DNS server
So
once you've got it all set up.
it sits in between your devices on your home network and the big bad internet.
Right. And when you go in and look at the DNS settings on whatever device you're using, the DNS number you want to see is the IP address for the Raspberry Pi that's serving as your Pi hole.
Okay.
So all of those DNS requests go to that, and then it sends the requests on for you, and then it acts as a firewall as all of that data is coming back in for whatever web request you made. So the ads and the trackers, they get blocked by the firewall that the Pi-hole is creating, so that just the parts you want get through. So the web page that you want to see, instead of, and I'm not exaggerating here, I've actually witnessed this myself on my own devices. Load up a web page, an article on a web page, and I have to look through all this stuff to find about a sentence and a half.
Right.
And that, I mean, that's the only piece of the article itself I can actually see. And I have to scroll through so much ad, at that point, ad garbage, just to find the bits of the article. And it's using bandwidth. And if you have data caps, it is counting against your data caps on whatever your ISP service is. And so when you have your Pi-hole in the mix, all of that stuff that's going to count against your data cap is getting blocked before it gets through to you.
Mm.
And so your websites load faster, and you can actually read the content on them. Okay, we should probably have the discussion about ethics here, because you had also in your opening monologue, you talked about how you get to that for a lot of content creators, advertising is the way you generate revenue. So if you're blocking ads from ever getting to you, you're blocking revenue from getting to the content creators.
Right.
And that's a balance that you have to work through yourself. So my feeling is there are so many sites and services out there that have taken ad distribution and tracking to a level where I'm comfortable saying it is aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like the website that I went to read an article and gave up because I had to find sentence fragments mixed in with the ads. I mean, that is not
That
an
is not
acceptable user
acceptable.
experience at all.
Absolutely.
There is no way to justify that.
Yeah.
And that's a situation where the quest for revenue is actively losing you revenue, in theory,
Yes.
when people start
Yeah.
leaving your site.
Right.
Yes. Yes. So so
Yeah.
that site, I don't think I've ever been back to it, even with my pie hole in place, simply because I don't believe they will offer me any content that has enough value to justify going to their site.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that you can configure your pie hole so that that you find that sweet spot for you. Part of that means when you find the websites that are generating their revenue through advertising and you feel like it's important for you to support them, you can go in and whitelist that website.
Mm.
So you can let
Excellent.
ads come in from a website if you want to.
Yeah. And can you filter certain types of ads versus other types of ads? For example, can you say, hey, I would like to filter out these aggressive video ads that are popping up as I'm trying to read the article, but okay, go ahead and let the banner ads and whatnot appear instead.
That's a really good question. I have not tried doing that because I'm approaching the ad thing in a more holistic way. Like these are ads, and these are all being presented in a way that's unacceptable for me.
Hmm.
There, I literally cannot fully load a site because there's so much ad content, or I can't see the content that I want to see, and so I'm taking the approach that I'm taking is block the advertising content unless I tell you not to. But I can also have across the board ads from specific ad server networks always blocked.
Hmm.
So maybe if one of those services, all they're doing is serving up video ads, then that just stays blocked.
Yeah.
And you can actually, I bet you could do exactly what you're talking about if you knew the right way to craft a grep command, because you can use grep inside Pi-hole.
Of course you can.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess that's the long-winded way of walking through the process myself to come to the conclusion that yes, Mike, you probably can let static banner ads come through and have video ads all blocked if you're savvy enough to figure out how to craft your grep commands appropriately.
Cool.
Their regular expression or whatever. Yeah.
Cool.
I want to throw this over to Eric because I want to go back for just a second. We kind of danced around this topic of DNS servers and what they are and how they fit within the network. And I know Eric's very familiar with this concept, as am I, and you and all of us here. But Eric, how would you describe a DNS server in terms of what a typical user, or how a typical user interacts with it on a day-to-day basis?
I have no idea.
What do you mean you have no idea? I know you know.
Oh, wow.
It's magic.
It is. It's magic. I don't. I've always thought of it as simply just the DNS server assigns IP addresses to whatever devices the people are using, so it automatically does that. And so, for the internal network,
Mm-hmm.
for the devices that are inside the network. Is that what you're asking?
Sure. No.
No, absolutely not.
Maybe DNS. Okay. Let me ask Jeff this question then. Is DNS server the correct terminology here, or should we be saying name server? What is the better way to refer to what Pi-hole, the services Pi-hole is providing us? That's where when we type in a name,
it looks
apple.com,
up the IP address. Yeah.
it looks up the IP address, and it then knows where to go on the internet. And then likewise, with the ad networks, it knows what IP addresses are associated with particular ad networks. And in the case of Pi-hole, it says, well, I'm not going to let that traffic through because it's coming from these IP addresses I know of. So in a typical home network setup, I don't even think most people are not even aware of what the DNS servers are that they're using. They let their ISP modem come on, and either they use that modem, which is actually a router, but we'll call it a modem because they like to call it that. That router, that modem, assigns them DNS servers provided by the carrier. And then there are some folks like me that might use something like
Google.
Yeah, Google DNS or any of the other OpenDNS is a very popular one.
Or Cloudflare DNS.
A Cloudflare DNS, yeah. And then, knowing 8.8.8.8 or 8.8.4.4 or 1.1.1.1 or 208.67.222.222, knowing these addresses.
Mike, did it just get hot in here? Because that was sexy.
Knowing these addresses, and by the way, that was Google's DNS resolution, that was Cloudflare's resolution, and OpenDNS's resolution. And OpenDNS also has 220.220, but that's a whole nother conversation. But knowing them and using these third-party can help protect you. Using a third-party DNS service can help protect you against the bad guys out there on the internet. But now we're introducing another concept of an internal DNS server for name resolution that protects you not against the bad guys, because you'll still be using them, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but you'll be using OpenDNS or Google DNS or Cloudflare's DNS or your ISP's DNS. Pi-hole will be using that for any regular resolution, but then it will be intercepting the known addresses of ad providers that you want to specifically block.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. So from your computer standpoint, the sole DNS tool that it's using is Pi-hole. But yes, your Pi-hole, even though it's telling your computer, I'm your DNS, it still does need a DNS resolution server somewhere to talk to. And so I would hope that if you're going to the trouble to set up a Pi-hole, that you're not using your ISP's DNS, because first, it's probably slow. Second, it might be out of date. But third, and I should have led with this, it is tracking every freaking thing you're doing.
Right.
Yep, all three of those.
Yeah,
all three of those things. Slow.
So
yeah,
you want to use. So my recommendation when you configure your Pi-hole and tell it what DNS you want it to use either Cloudflare or OpenDNS.
Yeah.
Because those are the two that are not tracking you. And OpenDNS, of course, because it's OpenDNS. And their whole thing is, this is open, no one's tracking. And for Cloudflare, they're not tracking you, because when they say, we are not tracking you, here's exactly how this works, they have to be telling you the truth. Otherwise, there are large government agencies that get involved because they're lying and misleading you.
Yeah.
And in Cloudflare's case, offering this free DNS that anyone can use totally makes sense, just giving it away, because Cloudflare's real business is, well, part of their real business is caching websites for their clients so that you can have a website load as fast as possible for you. So if you are paying Cloudflare to cache your website, and you're using 1.1.1.1, Cloudflare's DNS, it gets even faster because it's all internal for them. So it's a much more efficient way to feed you a website, and you're going to get that website delivered to you from whatever caching server is physically closest to your location. So it speeds up even more. So for them, it's like, this is great. We charge people for the part that we need to charge them for, and we make it super easy for everyone else to use this so that our customers get some value and we get money. Cha-ching.
Yeah. Plus knowing when you're using Cloudflare's DNS, they start to learn where the largest segment of web traffic is heading, and they also learn what should be cached more frequently, or the cache refreshed more frequently, I should say.
Right. Yes. And they're in a position where, because they have these servers everywhere, if there's an area where service is interrupted for some reason, like a server gets knocked offline, there's been a flood or something, and the lines are just broken, then they can be much more nimble in routing those DNS requests to other locations, so that you are far less likely to try and hit a website and it just never responds.
Cool.
Okay, so as long as we're nerding out on all of this, the other thing you could do is set up your own literal DNS server internally. And so then it goes out and it gets its database updated periodically, and on whatever time frame you want it to. So let's say every 15 minutes it checks, or every day it checks, and then all your DNS requests, they actually go through this private box that you have, and no one else gets to track that. And you could take it so far as to set that up with a publicly accessible IP address, which would probably be you're paying for a service where you get a static IP that points back to your personal network, where you have a specific port open, where it comes in, and so then you could use your own DNS from anywhere in the world.
Yep.
Wow, that would be very fancy.
Yeah,
And
it would be.
I'll tell you, it doesn't take much. It takes very, very little hardware to run a DNS server. And I know that because I've done it, not here at home, but for a company I worked for several years, where we ran our own mail servers, we ran our own web servers, and out of necessity, then we ran our own DNS servers. And by the way, we also had, we used a nifty piece of open source software called IPCOP, which then allowed us to create a private VPN between Minneapolis, Chicago, and Phoenix, which was fantastic. Now, I say all that because, having done it myself, and Darren and I have talked about this, and I know Eric and I have talked about this on the show before, taking on the responsibility of running your own mail server, web server, or DNS server.
Oh, yeah. It can be a lot of work.
it can be a lot of work. And there's a lot of things you need to stay on top of, not the least of which are patches, updates, and assuring the server is set up in a secure manner. So, if you are going to do that, awesome. I encourage you to. Just make sure you read up on everything you need to do to make sure it's safe and secure, and that you're not opening yourself up to potential attacks because you decided to run your own DNS server or web server or mail server.
I think that's good advice. And don't try and do all of it at once. Like, learn with one little bit, play with it for a while, figure out the mistakes, and then once you've got that nailed down and running smoothly, then experiment with something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely worth playing around with, though. And you can run your own DNS server internally behind a firewall if all you want to use it for is name resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to open up to the outside internet. You don't have to have a fixed IP address on it.
That's it. It's optional.
You can run it in such a way that you're only using it for, resolving addresses on the internet.
Name resolution, yeah.
And that's effectively what the Pi-hole's doing for you. So maybe you don't need to run one after all.
My feeling is, if you feel like you need to have a level of privacy where you are running literally everything internally, including your own DNS, you're playing at a level in this game where you're beyond, hey, should I set up a Pi-hole?
True.
Right.
True. We talked about what a Pi-hole is. I think we kind of danced around, if not overtly said, why we want a Pi-hole. But have we said that, Jeff? Have we
talked around
why we want a Pi-hole?
So how about if I tell you why I want a Pi-hole?
I would love to hear that.
Excellent.
Okay, so the first thing for me was when trackers became so obtrusive that there was literally nothing that I could do. Even requesting a website was ending up with trackers, more and more trackers all the time. And in many cases, these trackers are also doing things like saying, hey, what kind of computer do you have? What operating system are you running? What's your IP address? What's your web browser? What fonts do you have installed? Just down the line, everything. Oh, by the way, what's your email? Everything it could possibly find out about you. This was happening. And while I appreciate that for some things that I do, there needs to be certain levels of tracking, but it needs to be reasonable. Just because you can, as we learned from Jurassic Park, doesn't mean you should.
Exactly.
And so that for me, that was the tipping point. And then because ads were so obtrusive, that was just an easy follow along. And in many cases, those ads have the trackers embedded as well. So that made a huge difference in my decision between just use Cloudflare and call it good, or set up a Pi-hole that talks to Cloudflare, excuse me, and then just really filter out a lot of this tracking and advertising cruft. And so that's what I ended up doing. And the first thing I noticed after I changed the DNS on my Mac to my Pi-hole was that the websites that I was loading, their load performance improved dramatically. And it was an indicator to me of just how much overhead was coming through with each web page request. The web page itself is just this tiny little part of the data, and the rest of it was all of this junk for the ads.
Yeah. How does this, for folks who are wondering, a lot of folks are saying, well, I'll just click reader mode, right? I'm on a website. It's got a bunch of ads. I don't want to see those ads. I'll just click the reader mode button. What's the difference?
Oh, that's a really great question. I like that. And no one has asked me that before. Well done, Mike. Darren, I bet you told Mike to ask that, didn't you?
He did. He prompted me. He did.
Absolutely.
So when you're using reader mode, it's basically just masking out the ad parts. And I'm really simplifying here.
Right.
It's not actually blocking any of that content from coming through. It's just stripping out the layout so you're getting the text part.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
it's still
all that
downloading
stuff
it.
still comes through at the trackers, everything.
And
And
there's a number of websites that can detect reader mode
And we'll block
and
it.
Yes.
not
Yeah.
present the content to you.
Yep.
right. The reader mode, well, I know in Safari also does something else where, like he was talking about, I think, where they'll have a page with, well, with all these ads, just a little bit of content, and then you have to click to the next page to see the next thing or the rest of the content or whatever, where a reader will like stitch all of that together, which is actually a nice thing too. But I was going to ask, were you using ad blockers at all in your browser, or do you still use ad blockers, or was Pi-hole the first thing, or?
Yeah, I did use the ad blockers before I had a pie hole, and that was helpful. Um, but a pie hole is much more effective, and I can use it for every single device on my network. So
Right.
it's not like I have to
Yeah.
go to all my devices and set up an ad blocker and keep the ad
On
blocker up
each
to
one.
date.
Yeah.
It's just every device it gets my Pi-hole IP address as DNS, and I'm done.
It's so nice.
Now
That
I still have ad blockers running because they're just built into web browsers now. But it's not like I am actively working to manage ads through the browser's ad blocker. And
Right.
and the browser I'm using right now is Helium.
Oh,
And
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
turns out it's really cool. I've been jumping through different Chromium browsers because of very specific plugins that I need that cannot run on Safari. And Google Chrome has been right out for a very long time. And I used Edge for a long time, but it started getting more and more bloated. And then they did an update where, because I was logged into OneDrive, Edge just
Oh, of
without
course.
consent logged me into my Microsoft account. And I'm like, I never want to be logged into an account in my web browser like that, ever. There's literally no scenario where this is an
Yeah.
acceptable option for me. So I'm like, well, there, I just saved you an edit point because I caught myself. So I went into Edge's settings and I'm like, no, log me out. And it's like, oh, yeah, sure, we can do that. And to protect your privacy, seriously, now, we'll go ahead and just
It's a bit late.
obliterate everything else that's in Edge, which meant every single setting that I had gone in and
Oh.
customized,
Per session cookies, everything. Yeah.
everything, it was just gone. And
Fabulous.
and I'm sitting here looking at my browser and I'm like, wow, this would be a great point to say something that gives Mike an edit. And I went and installed Brave and have not used Edge ever since. And Brave started to become more memory hungry. And I was like, screw this. So I started looking for alternatives that are more streamlined, because Brave started getting into the whole, and you've got AI. I don't need my browser to be AI. I go to the AI thing for that. And I could soapbox and rant for hours if you want. But then I found Helium, which is a relatively newer browser. And their thing is, yes, it's the Chromium core, but all of that other stuff that apparently is really triggering Jeff right now, how about if we don't include that? And so that's how I came across Helium, and I've been using it for a few months, and it's working well.
Excellent.
I'll have to check that out.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, while we are talking about browsers, just two things I wanted to bring up. One, related to what you were saying in terms of the information our computers are putting out there for trackers to grab from us. The trackers are not reaching into our computers and saying, what browser is this person running? What operating system are they running? They're not doing that. It's actually the opposite that's happening. Our browsers are handing out this information. Our browsers are telling the trackers, this is the browser they're using, this is the resolution their screen is at, this is the operating system they're on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So browsers are, before people get too freaked out by that, browsers are starting to take the tact where they obfuscate that information. Safari does that, Firefox does that. They're starting to pretend to be other things or to give information to help confuse the trackers so that they can't build up large databases of where you've been and what you're going to see and what you're searching for and all that kind of stuff. So there's good news on that front. The other comment I wanted to make is related to browsers and privacy and what you were talking about with Helium and things like that. My browser of choice is Firefox, and it remains to be Firefox. And I do still believe that Mozilla does a fantastic job of watching our backs when it comes to things like privacy. And I'm a user that often flips over into private browsing mode. I do it all the time. And
it's a very handy tool. Yes, from a business perspective, being able to flip into private mode, so I can look at a website without being logged in and do the comparisons. Yes, there are tons of reasons why private mode is super handy.
And in private browsing mode, Firefox enhances the protections. It adds a little bit extra when you're in private browsing mode versus regular browsing mode. And up until very recently, my default search engine of choice continued to be Google. I continued to go to Google for my main searching. I happen to like Google Maps. I happen to like some of the other results that they gave me. I'm tired of them cramming Gemini down my throat, but I did continue to use Google until about 3 weeks ago, because as I switch into private browsing mode and I go to Google to do a search, I kept getting this box that they're detecting unusual traffic from my network. And I have to check a little box to assure that I really am a human and I really do deserve to use the Google search engine. And then I started getting those types of messages when I would go to private browsing mode to watch a YouTube video, because heaven forbid, I don't want that YouTube video to alter the recommended videos that I get on my main channel, right? So now they're punishing me because I'm using private browsing mode. So I said, you know what? Forget it. Or what did you say? Screw it. I'm switching everything. Every single device now uses DuckDuckGo. And I'm just very, very impressed with all the privacy tools that they have at my disposal. And I was super curious how they could say that my settings would be retained across devices. And then I learned how they do that. And it's very clever.
Yeah.
They give you a little
I
code.
don't know how they do that. Please enlighten me.
They give you a little code. So you save your settings and you say, I want to transfer these settings to another computer. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact wording. I want to send these, I want to, use these settings elsewhere. And they give you a little code and you put that code in on the other computer and your settings come over, and they have no idea who you are or why you're doing this. Or
just know that the settings go with that little phrase.
The settings go along. All the privacy settings for DuckDuckGo go along. And I've been thrilled with it. And compared to all the other search engines, and, I really didn't want to use Bing. I really didn't want to use some of the others. I'd much prefer to have Dogpile back. Actually, I think they might be around, but I don't use it.
Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves?
Oh, yeah, the good old days.
Or how about good old classic Yahoo, where it was maintained by humans?
Oh, Yahoo.
That would be amazing. Can you imagine maintaining billions of websites by hand? That's crazy.
Wow.
Anyway, so I'm using DuckDuckGo now on every single device. And
excellent.
I've been
it's
very
not as
happy
if
with
I've
the
been
results.
recommending DuckDuckGo for years.
I've been using DuckDuckGo for a long time.
Very comparable search results to what I get with Google, I should say.
Yeah.
versus, like I said, Bing,
Yeah.
where the search results, I think Microsoft just pulls them out of their ear and throws it up on screen.
Yeah, well,
I
they
have
do
no
pull them
idea.
out, but it's very unsanitary.
Oh, it's not their ear they pull it out of. Okay, that's right.
No,
No,
but I know anatomy on humans is confusing sometimes. So I've been using DuckDuckGo for a few months now,
Yeah.
and I'm finding it lacking. It's good,
Okay, interesting.
but with some of the searches that I do or have done, it's not giving me the results that it should. And it happens often enough that it's actually frustrating. And so I'm at the point where I'm thinking, well, I like DuckDuckGo and I like the privacy factor. I need something that's going to have a higher likelihood of giving me results that I'm looking for. And I've had several friends recommend Kagi,
Oh, okay.
which you pay for, but you're not the product. So I
yeah,
think
you
I'm
get what you pay for sometimes. Yeah.
yeah. So
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna start playing around with Kagi and see if I like that.
Good recommendation.
Yeah.
I've not been using it long enough to recognize what you're recognizing, and that maybe it's not giving me quite the same level of results that I may be used to from having used Google all these years. And maybe I'll get there. But so far, I've been pretty happy with the results. So I think it really just kind of depends on what you're looking
It's
for.
I'm just generally speaking, I think DuckDuckGo is really good.
Yeah.
But if I do a search where it's a specific search where I know it should give me a specific result, and it does not, like I'll go 3 pages deep, and it's the website that it should show me just isn't there.
Yeah.
But then try the same search in Google, and once you get past the Gemini thing that you can't turn off and the list of 5 ads, then the top hit, the actual top hit, is exactly the thing it was supposed to be. And it's like, okay, well, that's kind of a compelling issue
True.
right there. But yeah, like today, for today's show, I made sure that I grabbed a bunch of links so that things we're talking about, I can give those to you,
That's great. And we'll put those in the
And-
show notes.
and so they can go in the show notes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
like a
what I
professional,
did,
this is good.
I'm sorry, I can close that window right now, so there's no URLs if that's appropriate for the show. But what I did, instead of doing the obvious thing, which is go into Instapaper that I use for cataloging and managing all of these things, I just opened a new window and started DuckDuckGo searching for each of the things. And all the things that I wanted to find, they were all there in the searches. Maybe not the top hit, but they were on the first page. And so it worked fine. Everything I expected to find, I was able to find without going to page 2.
I've
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've used DuckDuckGo now probably for over a decade. I mean, it's been, and I used to have to run to Google every so often if I couldn't find something or I didn't feel like, but that's kind of come and went. Now I think I've been using it so long that I don't know that I'm not getting stuff, that see where Jeff, where you're like, I should be finding this. I've just been using DuckDuckGo so long that I don't even know. I just take it for, or both that's what I should have gotten, that's,
It's
Well,
like
and
the
there's nothing
internet
wrong
used to
with
be.
that.
yeah.
Yeah, my guess is that for some of us that look for content in specialized areas, like a lot of the things that I look for will fall into a very specific niche in cloud security or graphic design.
Right.
And yeah, I know that's weird to say those two together, but welcome to my world. And so when I'm performing those specific kinds of searches, in many cases, I'm expecting the Verizon or IBM annual security report to come up, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
Right. That makes sense. That, yeah, kind of where exactly. Yeah, that I totally get that for sure. So I was going to say, I don't want to change the subject, but so with Pi-hole, it runs on Raspberry Pi.
Mm-hmm.
What does your hardware look like? I mean, which Raspberry Pi do you have? Or
Awesome segue, Eric.
That's
That was
well
our next
done.
topic.
Wow, look at that.
Okay. So I'd say minimum requirements are Raspberry Pi 3B.
Okay.
Well, that's good. I've got a Raspberry Pi 3B. Excellent.
There you go. And which actually that's what I'm running mine on, because that's what was sitting in the drawer when I was like, you know what, we're making a pie hole today. And yeah, so I set it up, and I dug through my drawer and I found a 32 gig micro SD card. A 16 gig will work fine. I wouldn't go lower than a 16 gig. But yeah, it's 32 gig, and then and that's it. And you need to plug this into Ethernet. You really, really want this running with a wired connection on your network, not on Wi-Fi. And it will work over Wi-Fi, but you will have a performance hit, and it's not the performance that you want. Keep in mind that you have probably multiple devices that may be doing DNS requests at the same time. And so you want that whole pass-through thing to be able to happen as fast and reliably as possible. Make it a wired connection. And so when I first set it up, Mike, you're going to love this part. So, I just pulled this bare Raspberry Pi board out of a drawer, and then got everything set up. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about that part at some point. So the hand waving part will go away.
Yes, yes.
And then started testing it. But you don't want to just have a bare Raspberry Pi just like laying there on top of your router or
Right.
Well, I
whatever.
don't know. It's quite a good aesthetic, I think. Perhaps.
Unless you care to short out your Raspberry Pi. That's a good way to
Right.
do it. Yeah.
So, Mike, what I did was I pulled out my bin of random Lego bricks.
Awesome.
And I built a little
you've got a
frame to hold
Lego
it.
Pi hole. Wow.
Nice.
And so my Raspberry Pi for a couple weeks just sat in this little Lego frame that I built for it. And it worked fine. But because this Raspberry Pi runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop. It is never, ever off. It's even on a battery backup. So if the rest of my power were to go out, my network actually still runs, and the Raspberry Pi runs as well. So my Pi hole is my whole network stays fully functional if there's a power outage.
Nice.
And so I decided this Raspberry Pi definitely needs to have additional cooling just because it's running all the time, even though it's not running a heavy load. So I bought this little Raspberry Pi case thing that's it's like acrylic sheets that have been cut to fit the Pi hole, and they stack together as layers around your Pi and screw together. And there's a fan in the mix as well. So I've got this little clear Raspberry Pi case that came with a fan and additional heat sinks. So I just stuck the whole thing in that, and it actually lives in a cabinet that's part of my home entertainment system, out of the way. You literally don't see it unless you go open a door, and it just sits on top of my Synology and runs all the time.
Nice.
Nice.
And I'm going to take a little break here in the audio part of the show. And this is just for the folks watching this on video, but I have a little show and tell here. This is, for those who don't know what we're talking about, this is a
Oh,
Raspberry Pi. This is actually the Pi 4B, and this happens to be in the quote official Raspberry Pi case.
Yeah, I recognized that case as soon as you held it up.
But this is right here for the camera. This is a Raspberry Pi 4B, and you can see that on the end of it we have 4 USB ports and Ethernet. And then internally, there's a little header in here if you want. There's a little header if you want to expand it. That's the CPU right there with the little heat sink on it. And then on the side of it, we've got a few. We've got an audio. Where are we? Audio jack. We've got little USB.
yeah.
What do we have there?
A couple of HDMIs. Yeah.
Yeah, a
HDMI.
couple HDMI ports and the USB-C power port.
Oh,
on there.
USB-C power. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's about it. But this case happens to have, as Jeff was explaining, a fan in it.
A fan.
That fan connects to the header inside the case, and that's how that works. So, for those
Mike,
who
how
aren't-
much does that case cost?
Oh gosh, I want to say this was maybe $15. It wasn't
Okay.
very expensive.
Okay.
Maybe more because it had the fan in it. I don't know, but it was not expensive at all. It was definitely worth the purchase to get the model with the fan in it.
Oh, absolutely. And
I've
the
got
Raspberry
a
Pi case that I'm using on my Pi hole, it was $15.
There you
And
go. Yeah.
it also includes a power supply.
Oh,
So it's the
nice.
case, the power supply,
Handy.
the
Yeah, yeah,
fan, and the extra heat sinks.
Very cool.
And it's
I've
15
got a
bucks.
fairly fancy case on my Pi. It's by a company called Flirk, and that they
I
do
like the name. Flirt.
yeah, very good, isn't it? FLIRC, I believe, and they do passive cooled cases. They're very, very clever. So they're aluminium cases, but they're constructed in a way that they sit directly on the CPU, and they radiate the heat from there through the entire case. So the case itself is its own cooling system. So there's no fan in it. So it's really quite nice there because it does such a good job of dissipating the heat that when you touch it, it's cool to the touch, even though it's been on for like forever. So it's pretty clever. But those are quite expensive cases. They're fancy aluminium cases, or aluminum cases, as you guys say.
But less power usage because
Power
because
usage,
it's
yeah,
passive.
yeah, so it's passive, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's possibly double the price of the cases that you were mentioning, but it's still quite a nice option if you want something like a passive cooled case.
Okay, I can answer
Nice.
your question, Jeff. And for those who are watching the video, this will only be in the video. This will not be in the show itself. I purchased my Raspberry Pi and the case and the power supply and the fan and all that stuff from Adafruit, which is one of my
A very reputable place to buy your Raspberry Pi gear.
absolutely wonderful place. And we'll talk about them in just a moment for the audio recording. But I pulled up my order on this, and the power supply was a separate purchase that was $7.95. The case itself, the red and white plastic case, was $6, and the fan and heat sink was an add-on, was $5. So for $18.95, I got the case, the fan, the heat sink, and the power supply.
Nice.
Yeah. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah, the one that I have is not Raspberry Pi official. The company is Musai. I'm totally guessing how to spell that, but you have a link for it. and they make they make this case for multiple Raspberry Pi models. So you just make sure you get the one that's correct for your Raspberry Pi, and you're good to go.
That's important, or else you might
Yeah.
crush some components.
And to bring this full circle to the show itself for Mac Guys Only, if you would like a case that looks like a classic Macintosh, you can download STL files to 3D print your own if you would like. Or you could even download an STL file to print a case that looks like a Sinclair Spectrum, which is something I would do because I'm that kind of nerd.
Fabulous.
Yeah, Mike, since you're bringing that up, how about if I tie this all in to make it totally Mac specific for a minute?
Oh, that'd be great.
Nice.
Pi-hole, we're talking about running it on a Raspberry Pi because Raspberry Pi, that's where the Pi part comes in, and it's great, and a Raspberry Pi runs this really well. If you are comfortable with Docker,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
install Docker on your Mac, and you can run Pi-hole in Docker.
In a container, yes.
Yep.
Interesting.
Which is how you do it on a Synology as well.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm not running Pi-hole on my Synology is because I feel like any device that's part of my backup strategy is dedicated to my backup strategy. Therefore, my Synology, as one of my core backup hardware devices, does not do anything other than backup. So it is not running music servers, photo servers, video servers, Pi-hole, any of that. It's just backup.
That makes sense.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about that, Jeff. Let's talk about we know what hardware we need now, whether someone runs it in Docker or someone runs it on a Raspberry Pi. But what are the basics of installation and setup? How hard is this to set up? And for folks who may be asking, is there a lot of coding involved to get a Pi-hole running?
Okay. So to start, what I'd recommend, unless you're really comfortable just SSH and command lining in to a headless device, spare keyboard, so USB keyboard and USB mouse, and a display. So have that stuff ready for the Raspberry Pi, but you're going to start on your Mac. And what you're going to do is go to the Raspberry Pi website, and you're going to download the Raspberry Pi installer, and so it runs as an application on your Mac. Then you're going to take your micro SD card and plug it into whatever it is that you use to mount that on your Mac, and you're going to use the Raspberry Pi installer to install Raspberry Pi OS. They changed the name. They don't call it Raspbian anymore, do they?
Oh, I was going to say, is it called Raspbian anymore?
I think so.
Yeah, I forgot what they call it now, but it doesn't matter. The point is, their little installer app will get you your card set up so you're ready to go. And since we're keeping this easy, now you take that card that's ready to go, you plug it into the little slot on your Raspberry Pi, and you've got your keyboard and your mouse and a display. In my case, I just plug an HDMI cable from the Raspberry Pi into my television. And I sit there, no kidding, this is how I did it. TV tray in front of the television with the keyboard and mouse, and booted up the Raspberry Pi. And from there, you can go to the command line to they tell you don't install the whole graphic interface because you're not going to need that for what you're doing. It doesn't matter, and you're going to feel comfortable using a GUI. Just let it install. It's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah, I agree.
And then once you are ready to go, then what I would do is go to piehole.net, and they have a thing there. It's like right on the homepage, install Pi-hole. Click the button, and it's going to walk you through the process of installing the Pi-hole software. And then once that's installed, then that goes through the process of walking you through the configuration. And so I'm going to take a step back because I realized there's something I should have hit that I didn't. When you're doing the initial setup for your Raspberry operating system install, you have the option of turning on SSH. Do it because ultimately you're going to want to run this headless, and being able to SSH in to your Pi hole if you need to. You need to have that set up and ready to go. But anyhow, so then the Pi-hole software walks you through the rest of the setup. And it's going to make sure that you've assigned a static IP address to your Raspberry Pi. Excuse me. And it's going to get everything ready to go. And once it's done, then you just let it run. Now you go back to your devices, your Mac, your iPhone, your iPad, and you're going to add in a custom DNS, which you already have because you don't want to use your ISP's DNS that we already established. And so what I did was I set the first DNS on all my devices to be the Raspberry Pi's IP address. And then my second DNS, in case for some reason my Pi hole goes offline or I'm somewhere else where I don't have access to my Pi hole, then I have the Cloudflare DNS. So if my Pi hole isn't available, my devices gracefully fall to my backup DNS.
Got it. Yeah.
Right.
So you have a preferred DNS and a secondary DNS.
Yep.
Right. That makes sense.
And
that's worked really well.
Let's bounce back to our conversation about running your own DNS servers that we had a little while ago. If you do run your own DNS servers, you're probably going to be running two, a primary and a secondary. And those are, your primary and secondary then on your devices. You can set up as many DNS servers on your Mac or your iPhone as you want to. You're not limited to two. You can add three.
Yeah.
You can add a tertiary one if you want to. So what you could do is actually, if you're worried about a Pi going offline, build two. Couldn't you?
Oh, you absolutely could. And you could have them both running all the time. And so I'm actually looking at my DNS servers on my Mac right now, and I have 4 set up.
Okay.
So
now let's talk about that, because one of the questions that's been dancing around in my head is where do we set up the Pi hole on our network? Do we set it up between our ISP's router and our own personal router, assuming we're not using the ISP's router? So, in a double NAT type situation, is our router getting its DNS from the Pi hole, which is then getting DNS from Cloudflare or wherever, but getting a direct connection to the internet from our ISP? Or do we set it up in parallel with our router, like you are? You're setting up in your home entertainment system. It's just sitting there on your network, and you're pointing your devices to it. Do you have a recommendation on which might be the better way to go?
I'll tell you how I have mine set up. So my router, in this case an Eero, it's on the network just like you would expect. So it sits between the I know it's not a modem, but my fiber optic modem, and so my Eero connects to the fiber optic modem, and then the Eero connects to my my network switch.
Okay.
And I set up the Eero with its own DNS, Cloudflare, so that it stays functional regardless of whatever's happening internally on my network. And then my Pi hole, it's plugged into the switch just like any other Ethernet device that I have on my network. So it just sits there on the network, and then my devices all talk to it when they want DNS, and then it sends its request out. It doesn't care what my Eero is doing. Excuse me. Because it's just sending out its request independently of what the Eero can offer. And then the requests come right back in, and then the Pi-hole says, and here you go. Here's your information. So it's just sitting there. Like if you look at it like a tree, the roots of the tree, that will be my fiber optic modem. And then the base of the tree will be the Eero. And then the trunk of the tree will be my network switch. And all the branches coming off will be all of my devices, including my Pi-hole.
So you're just running it on your network like any other device and pointing your... Okay, so let's go down this little nerdy path. What if you set up the DHCP server of your Eero to hand out the IP address of the Pi-hole, in addition to handing out as a secondary address Cloudflare and or OpenDNS or what have you? So that now you don't have to manually configure every device. Those devices will be getting the Pi-hole as their default first DNS server from your Eero.
Sure. You could do that.
That would save a little trouble.
It would. But I've already set everything up. Too late. Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious. I mean, I was trying to think through before I asked that question if there's any reason why you wouldn't want to do that. If the Eero would be using the Pi-hole as primary DNS for DHCP handouts and Cloudflare as secondary, that would then be automatically assigning those to those devices. If the Pi-hole were to go down, it would be like using your primary and secondary from your ISP or OpenDNS or anybody else. The traffic should then route through the secondary DNS server.
Okay, so you're also talking about DHCP, and your Pi-hole can handle DHCP.
Oh, it can. So it's not just so it can hand out IP addresses to your devices as well. Interesting.
And so now that I'm talking through this, I don't want that to happen, because I don't want to have that single point of failure that takes down the entire network.
You don't want the Pi-hole to be DHCP, is what you're saying.
Right. So I'm not going to change my setup. Thank you for helping me sort that out. I want to let the Eero continue to be DHCP, and the Pi-hole will be, for everything on the network, sees that as DNS.
Yeah, just
and
have
that
its one
way
filtering function.
Yeah, and I mean, it's because if the Eero goes down, then it doesn't matter what's happening.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
My network's just down. But if my Pi-hole goes down, and it's also doing DHCP, then my network is kind of hosed.
Right.
So let each device do one part of this, and that way I'm distributing out my failure points.
Right. But you could still use the Eero to hand out the Pi-hole address if you wanted to.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. That nerdy conversation
There's a
closed.
lot you can do to configure this on your network to work exactly the way you want it to.
Yeah. Excellent.
And actually I have several devices that I've set up with static IPs, just so that everything knows where it needs to point. Like the Pi-hole, it has a static IP.
Yeah.
And my Mac, my iPads, my iPhone, they all have on my local network a static IP, so that if I ever need to try and get into something from something else, I don't have to try and figure out what device that is. I always know.
Yep. Yep. Perfect.
I have a quick
great way to do it.
question, if it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask you, Jeff, what is the default out of the box config there? So, for instance, how does the Pi-hole know what to block and what not to block as a default? So before you even start to go in to try to configure it, what do you get as a default like blockage?
It's like you're reading Mike's mind.
I'm telling you,
I
these
know
two,
it.
these two are the segue masters.
Wow.
Yes.
So, wow, Darren, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So there's some block lists that are included by default. However, that may not give you the level of, I know, I'm setting this one up for you, Mike. That may not give you the level of blockage you want. And so I have another link to share that you can go to. Okay, so this is a GitHub repository. It's Steve Jenkins, and his repository is Pi-hole lists. And so you can go through and find all of these other Pi-hole lists or block lists that you can add to your Pi-hole. And the more you add, the more you block. But keep in mind, it's a threshold, because there will be a point where you could potentially block so much that you break websites from working.
Yeah.
Break the internet. Excellent.
So you need to figure out what that threshold is for you. So in my case, there's a web interface you can use to look at what's going on with your Pi-hole. So like, since I did my last update and refreshed and restarted my Pi-hole, I have 983,120 domains on the managed list, and with 6 specific clients or devices on the network currently using the Pi-hole, like currently meaning right now, 98 queries being blocked. And so my lists that I have, hold on, let me double check. I have 30 lists that I have added to my Pi-hole.
That's a shorter list than I would have expected.
Well, it's because at the time that I set all of this up, the other lists that I was going to add in, there was a lot of redundancy, and actually, fairly recently, some of the lists that I'm using have stopped being updated. So it is time for me to go and audit the lists that I'm using, decide what I want to include and what I don't. These lists, in many cases, get updated on a fairly regular basis, and so you can go in and through a simple command line command, which is pi-hole-g, update all of those lists at once.
Right.
This is why you want to be able to SSH in, so that you can do things like run pi-hole-g. Now, and of course, you can go in and if you want, you can build on your Pi-hole scripts that are running updates on a regular basis, and you can have this completely automated.
So cron scripts or what?
Yeah, thank you, cron scripts. Yeah. So, but yeah, so check out that GitHub link, and you'll find there are tons of lists, and they there's even this great little explanation about why Steve Jenkins chose the lists that he wanted. And
Nice.
anyhow, you can do some simple searches, a DuckDuckGo search, if you will, for Pi-hole ad lists, and you can find places that offer like different lists of these are the ones that I'd recommend, and these are the ones that I use, and you'll see a lot of repetition across these lists because they're some of these are like really good lists to have.
2 questions that tie into Darren's question. Is there, and maybe you answered this and I missed it, but is there a default list that comes with your Pi-hole installation, or
Yes.
does it start as a bare device that you have to then seed?
It comes with default lists.
Okay. And then you can add further
Nice.
lists as you need to, like the Steve Jenkins list.
Yeah.
And then the other question is, you can add these lists through the web interface. How extensive is the web interface? Can you do things like refresh the lists via the web interface as well, or is that a command line only thing?
Let's
Or how
see.
does that work?
I'm looking at it right now.
This is where Jeff breaks the internet and goes offline.
So in the interface, the web interface, it specifically says you need to run Pi-hole G
Got it.
to
Okay.
update the lists.
Got it.
But that's something you can put in a cron job.
Right. And then just a simple comment here. You talked about going a little crazy and adding maybe too many lists where you can actively break the internet. Just a little comment on that. That's not when you're running Pi-hole. That's when you're running black hole. That's completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different operating system. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can like get super granular with what you're doing with these lists, because you can create list groups.
Oh,
And so
Nice.
then that gives you the ability of saying, with these things, this is the group that needs to be used. With this other stuff, use this group. You can whitelist things if you need to. Which that's the thing that you would do if, say, there's that one news site that you rely on all the time and you really do support. Then go and add to your list the IP address for that site, and then set that as a whitelisted site.
nice. So the groups can actually be assigned on a site by site or I guess a bulk site basis. So any one particular group of lists may be applicable only to, say, video streaming, whereas another list is more applicable to pop-up ads and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Anything special we need to do to keep the Pi-hole up to date once it's running, other than refreshing the lists from time to time?
Well, the Pi-hole software will have updates coming out periodically, and if you haven't set up cron jobs to periodically run your Raspberry OS and installs updates, then this is another great opportunity to SSH into your Pi-hole, and then just run the update command lines, commands, and let everything update that way. And so you'll get your Raspberry OS updates, you'll get your Pi-hole updates, which will be separate from your list updates. And it all gets updated, and you just keep running. If you're looking in the web interface and you want to see if your Pi-hole software is up to date, scroll to the bottom of the web interface, and right at the bottom in the footer, it says core version, FTL version, and web interface version. And if any of those are red, then you know that there are updates
Right.
available. And it'll even throw a line in there that
Nice.
says updates are available.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice.
That is really nice. Cool. What? So we're talking about recommending the default Raspberry Pi OS, probably 64-bit, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's
Because I know
64-bit.
there's different versions. There's 32-bit and 64-bit and things like that. So, go with the recommended version that the Imager suggests. The Imager, by the way, is free software. As Jeff said, you get from raspberrypi.com, and then go to their software page and you just download the Imager. It's available for Windows and Mac and Linux.
Mm-hmm.
And once you run that on there, it literally steps you through the process. It couldn't be easier. One of the things I noticed, though, and maybe you know differently, Jeff, is that through the Imager, there does not seem to be a default Pi-hole installation. So is there a distro that's specific to installing Pi-hole on a Raspberry Pi so that you don't have to do the extra steps? Or is it always going to be, or for now, a two-step process? Install the Raspberry Pi OS, then install Pi-hole.
I have not seen installation that's here's Raspberry OS and Pi-hole OS installed all at once. It may be out there. I haven't seen it. I'm assuming if it's a thing that's not really out there and not me just missing it, it's because you need to do the Raspberry Pi OS install for the device you're putting it on. So
Good point.
it's not like,
Right.
in my case, I have a
Oh, of
3B
course.
plus,
Yes.
Right.
Makes
and
sense.
I can't
Yeah.
have the version 4 install on that
Yeah.
and have it still work. But still, it's not that big of a deal. There are, however, companies that will sell you Pi-hole as a little appliance, where it's the Raspberry Pi with Raspberry OS and Pi-hole pre-installed and configured for just maintaining itself. And so you buy it and you get this little box that looks shockingly similar to the Raspberry Pi case that you have, Mike. And it has the power supply and everything. So you plug it in your network, connect everything up, and then they'll have a short setup walkthrough thing that you go through, so it's set up for your network, and away you go. So if you want this and you don't want to have to go through the setup process yourself, you can pay
Cool.
to buy the
Cool.
device, but you're also paying for the fact that another company has just prepackaged everything and put it together for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you will pay more,
Right.
but so decide if
Right.
that's what you want to do.
Well, and that's a whole cottage industry with the Raspberry Pis. There are
Yeah.
places that will sell you a put together Picade, for example.
Yes.
It doesn't surprise me that they have a ready to go Pi-hole. It doesn't surprise me to see that there are companies out there that are selling ready to go video display Raspberry Pis, for conferences and things like that. So there's a whole industry of companies that are willing to do that for you. But honestly, it's not hard. It's very easy, in fact, to not only download the Imager and get an SD card ready, but then to go out to what is it, Pi-hole.com? I think you said Pi-hole.com or Pi-hole.net, and follow the simple instructions for getting the Pi-hole set up and ready to go on your Raspberry Pi.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings up one final question about everything we've been talking about here. Do you have any recommended places to buy your hardware? The software we know is available and out there. It's open source software. You can download it. But what about the hardware? What about the Raspberry Pi? Right now, there's a little increase we've been seeing in prices in computing hardware, thanks to Gemini and
AI.
all the other AI companies out there sucking up all the hardware resources that they can. And the Pi's been affected as well, and we've seen price increases there. But are there trusted sources that you use for picking up Raspberry Pis?
I've bought all of mine from Adafruit.
Oh, you have? Okay.
But hold on, I'm looking up the list of the other places. Oh, I've actually bought cases from CanaKit. And yeah, okay, those are the two places that I have bought stuff from. The the cases that I'm using on my Pi-hole and on my Plex server, yes, I'm running Plex on a Raspberry Pi. Those
That works.
cases came from Amazon, but yeah, Adafruit and Canakit.
Nice.
Those are the two places that I've gotten almost everything.
And Jeff is going to shoot me these links so that I can put them all in this episode show notes. Kind of put everything all in one place so you can get your pie hole ready to go. So, wrapping up our pie hole conversation, Jeff, what would be your number one piece of advice for anyone interested in getting started with pie hole?
Pick yourself up a Raspberry Pi and start playing with it.
Just do it.
Just do it. I mean, seriously. And the great thing is with a Raspberry Pi, if you completely hose your installation and your configuration,
Yeah,
you just
swipe
pull the
card and do it
SD
again.
card out
Do it again.
and yeah, start over, pop it back in, and keep going.
Yeah.
One thing that I did learn the hard way, if you have like a totally dialed in setup and you want to mess around with things, of course you need a backup before you do that.
Yeah.
And I did my backup wrong.
Uh-oh.
And so I ended up with a backup that I actually couldn't restore from because I totally hosed my whole setup. And so there was a point where I had to rebuild my Pi hole from scratch.
Wow.
And so what I recommend now, because it's turned out to be much more reliable, once you have everything dialed in the way you want, then in the graphic interface for Raspberry Pi, you can go to the utilities, and there is a copy tool that's built in there. Select that, and it will make an exact copy of the SD card that you have to another SD card. So I have a little USB SD card reader. I plugged that in with the second card and let Raspberry Pi image itself over to another SD card. So if I totally host something again in the future, all I have to do is swap the cards out instead of start from scratch. And the problem was when I did my backup, what I did was I made a disk image on my Mac.
Oh, that's what
But
I
I
was going
did
to
it.
ask. Couldn't you do that?
You can do it, but you have to do it where it's doing the sparse image thing, so the image size can fluctuate.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, it doesn't work right. And I didn't do that, and so it didn't work right. And I ended up with an SD card that had all the right parts, but it was just broken.
Wow.
So just let Raspberry Pi do it. And now you don't have to think about, did I get everything set up exactly right on my Mac? And you don't have to take your Pi hole offline while you do it.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I didn't think about that. If you do the imaging from the Raspberry Pi, you don't have to take anything offline.
Yeah.
Excellent point. And then you can update that image from time to time. As you update your Pi, just
Yes.
rerun the process of imaging the SD card. Oh, excellent advice.
Yep. And then every now and then, just shut down your Pi, swap the SD cards, and make sure it boots up from the backup. And when you know that works, then go ahead and shut it back down, put the main one back in, and stick your backup card away somewhere so that it's just not getting used.
Yeah. And keep in mind too that like any media like this, SD cards, USB flash drives, things like that just are not as durable as traditional storage media, SSDs and hard drives and things like that. So at some point your SD card will fail. It just will fail.
Yes, and
So-
I had that happen with my Pi hole at one point as well. This was after I had learned the error of my ways with the way I was backing up the card. And so when the pie hole went down and it just stopped working, I knew it stopped working, not because I couldn't get on the internet, because my graceful fallback was working. I went to look at stats
Oh,
and I'm like, oh crap, my pie hole's not running. And the card had just failed.
yeah.
Right.
So I pulled out the backup, popped it in, and was back in business. Went and got another micro SD card, backed up to that, so I still had a backup. And so I was down. My Pi hole didn't run for probably 2.5 days before I realized it wasn't running.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
But what I could do is go in and set everything up so that if my Pi hole is offline, I get an alert. Like
Yes, notification.
like
Nice.
have something else that's monitoring for the Pi hole IP address. When that goes offline, send me an alert.
So, just out of pure professional curiosity here, weren't you beaten and bloodied by all the ads you were getting hit by once your pie hole went down?
Well, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. How
that's
did
why
you
I
not
went to
notice?
look
Was
at the yeah, that's why I
Oh,
went
I
to look
see, yes.
in the
Yeah.
app, because I'm like, what is going on? Sites are loading too slow. I'm starting to see a bunch of other content. Have these trackers figured out new ways to work around stuff? This is just weird. And and see, it was over a weekend, so I wasn't on my computer as much as I normally
Of
was.
course.
And so then on Monday, I'm messing with this when it happened, and I'm like, well, crap.
Something
This
wrong.
is why it's not working right. Luckily, we have a backup, so we have a fix.
Fabulous.
Okay. Anything else we should mention before we wrap up the conversation about the Raspberry Pi hole?
Yes, we apparently I'm inviting myself back to your show.
Oh, yes.
We need to have a
talked about that.
conversation about DNS over HTTPS, because that's the other part of this whole equation. And so that's another show. And what's making that really interesting right now is that the way we have all been historically setting up DNS over HTTPS on our Raspberry Pis is now broken, because
Yay.
Cloudflare deprecated the service that allows us to do that whole thing through a Pi hole. And so now there are new ways we have to do this. This is all very recent, Mike. So the deprecation happened in November 2025. And so if you did an update to the Cloudflare component after you've set up DNS over HTTPS or DOH, so if you did an update to your Cloudflare part of that since like early February, it broke, and that's it. It doesn't work anymore. If you haven't done that update, then you're okay through November 2026. It'll continue to work. The problem is when I ran my regular updates, of course I would want to have everything as up to date as possible. So the Cloudflare component got updated and
It broke.
broke. And so, yeah. Anyhow, so I need to do an alternate for that, and there are options out there. So we can talk about that in another show. And for the people that are like DOH, when you're doing your DNS query, that's plain text.
Yeah.
So that can be intercepted along the way, and so anyone that intercepts that would know what website requests you're sending out.
Yeah.
So if you do DNS over HTTPS, now that's encrypted. And
Yeah. I was rubbing my chin because certain browsers like Firefox have DNS over HTTPS enabled by default.
yes,
So how does that work in conjunction with a quote broken Pi hole?
you're fine. because Firefox, or if you've already set up a DOH service in another way, that's still fine. But the nice thing about setting this up over or on your Pi-hole is that it doesn't matter what device joins your network. If it's using your Raspberry Pi for DNS, it automatically gets DOH as part of the package. So you're not having to go in and configure anything else.
Yeah. Awesome. And we were not joking, by the way, as one final comment about this Raspberry Pi conversation and Pi-hole, we were not joking. Jeff and I have already been trading emails about all the other Raspberry Pi related topics to get him back on the show to talk about.
Oh,
So
that'd be great.
If
That'd
you
be
enjoyed
awesome.
this conversation, let me know, because that'll tell me if I should actually invite him back or not.
That's fair.
So my question is, have you experimented with ad blocking apps or software like the Pi-hole? Be sure to leave your experiences in the comments of this week's show notes found at formacisonly.com. And that brings us up to a bit of listener feedback. Darren knows about this. He saw this email. It's from our listener, Nick, who shared his thoughts
do I have to
on...
apologize already?
Nick, who shared his thoughts on last episode where we discussed Apple's new Creator Studio subscription. Nick wrote, I too have purchased many years ago the standalone Apple apps like Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Motion, MainStage, Pixelmator Pro, and like Mike, have used gift cards which cut the cost dramatically. So would I go ahead and buy a subscription? He asks. I think the answer would be no, because I don't use these apps on a daily basis, although if he did use them on a daily basis, then he would consider it. Apple still sends out free updates with new features, and even if they stop this or we're not adding those special features within the Creator Studio, so what? I don't think it would disturb me. Yes, and there are, he adds, Affinity, DaVinci Resolve, and his Creative Cloud apps, which he does subscribe to as alternatives. I know you had some comments about that, Darren, specifically the iWork suite, which I think has kind of got you a little catty-wumpused.
Well, well, not entirely. It's just the progress of time. It's just one of the things that I was drawn to the Mac in the first place was just the existence of the iLife suite. Back in the day, it was astonishing just to have a suite like that all integrated. Just didn't exist anywhere else. And I particularly liked iDVD.
It was good.
And
Yep.
it's just the times have moved on now, and of course hardly anyone uses optical discs anymore, and nobody will create their own DVDs. Well,
I use them. I just used one yesterday.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, so it's just the times have moved on, so the existence of the suite has changed dramatically over time, so much so that now it's just a couple of included pieces of software that come pre-installed on the Mac. They're not part of Mac OS itself, but so it's just a lamentation of the fact that the suite no longer is in the same form that it was that attracted me to the Mac in the first place.
You mean the iLife suite?
Yeah, absolutely, the iLife. So yeah, I was just hankering after a mini return of a new updated iLife suite but for the modern world. So ignoring the DVD side of things, but just possibly having a new creative suite. I suppose that's what the new creative suite is in effect. And it's just moving with the times, but yeah, it's just a shame to see that the original concept of how the iLife suite apps hung together is not entirely presented like that anymore.
It's interesting because as you mentioned iLife suite multiple times, my brain was trying to think about which iLife apps are actually still around.
Pages, numbers, keynote.
Photos. No, that's I work. Pages,
That's
numbers,
I-
keynote
That's
is
I work, exactly.
So
yeah,
but
yeah.
those weren't part of I
I
Life.
Life was
Life.
They were separate.
GarageBand,
I
Was
work and I life were
uh,
separate. Yeah.
GarageBand, iMovie,
iPhoto,
There you
iMovie,
go.
iWeb.
Garage. That's it.
iWeb,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
iDVD.
iWeb.
Yeah. So we
Yep.
lost a good chunk of the apps that were part of iLife back in the day.
But we still have
iTunes was
GarageBand and
originally
iMovie.
part of it, but
Was it?
then
Yeah.
went on its own, went on its own way. But yeah, no, either they've changed names or they're not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still have GarageBand and iMovie, so and they're very good apps still. They've moved with the times, but they've stayed
Yeah, they're
stayed
okay.
true to the original iLife concept.
Yeah.
I know you had thoughts on it, Eric. We shared your thoughts on the episode that you had sent to me, but was there anything you wanted to add on that to add on to Nick's comments?
No, not that I can think of. I think that was pretty much, what I shared with you. But yeah, I did think of that same thing though, because that was Apple's big thing back then, was being the digital hub, of your life sort of thing. And I kind of thought that was cool back then too. So
Obviously, we didn't get your comments. Do you have you or will you subscribe to the Creator Studio, Jeff?
I won't, but not because I don't see value in it. It's because the workflows that I've already set up for my creative things already fall outside of the new Creative Studio.
Yeah.
I use LumaFusion for my video editing. I do all my video editing on an iPad.
yeah,
Excellent.
awesome.
And and then I've been using the Serif apps now, Affinity, as a unified app. And anyhow, just down the line, the things that are of value in the Creative Studio Suite thing don't apply to me, because I already have a whole system that's outside of that space.
It's like you sat in on the last episode, Jeff.
Excellent.
That was me in the closet. Let me out. Let me out.
All right. So now, continuing our new tradition of bringing for Mac Only quick tips back again to the show, I put together another quick tip for this episode. And this is how you can quickly bring emoji to your fingertips. I was actually on Guy and Gaz's G-Men show the other week, and Guy shared a tip for quickly navigating text in documents using only your keyboard. Lots of awesome commands there. I'm not going to rehash them here because that was episode 26 of their show if you'd like to go back and listen to it, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But that got me thinking about another great keyboard shortcut for those of us who like to delve into the colorful world of emoji. And that is a simple little keyboard shortcut that will pop up a tiny window to help you quickly pick your favorite smiley, sticker, or maybe the copyright symbol. And here's how you do it. First, on your Mac's keyboard, locate that little globe key in the bottom left corner of your keyboard. That's usually where it's kept. I think it's always in the bottom left corner. The little globe key in the bottom left of your Mac's keyboard. And while you are holding down that globe key in the document within which you are typing, press the E key. Globe E, or if you want to think of it as function E. Although I will point out on a full-size keyboard with a function key that does not work. I'll get to that in a second. Globe E will pop up a little emoji and symbols picker. It's pretty awesome. That small window pops up wherever you are typing and gives you searchable access to all the emoji on your Mac. Now, what if you want a symbol? Well, down at the bottom right of that window that popped up, look for a little double arrow and click it, and then that will give you a much wider range of standard symbols that are available to you as well. And if you want even more, you want more than that? Okay, I'll tell you how to get more.
I want more than that, Mike. How can I get more?
If you want more than that, after clicking the little double arrows, click the character viewer button. It's just like the button that you can make appear in your menu bar, a little character viewer button that's now found in the bottom right where those double arrows were, and the full character viewer window will appear. Now wait, what? You don't have a globe key? Well, I don't have a globe key on my big keyboard.
I was going to say, I don't have a globe key.
If you don't have a globe key, I've got you covered as well, because instead of pressing
Excellent.
globe plus E, you press Control Command Spacebar instead. It'll do the exact same thing. So there you go.
Control,
that is
Command,
my quick
Spacebar.
tip for this episode.
Hey.
Yeah. And
That's an excellent tip.
as we threatened, Jeff, every episode we do what we call our essential app. And for a couple of years now, we've been presenting one new essential app every single episode of For Mac Guys Only. And when we have a guest on, we ask if that guest would like to present an essential app. And Jeff said he had so many to pick from, he didn't know which he was going to choose. So it's going to be a surprise for us as well as a surprise for you, the listener. So Jeff, what is your essential app pick this episode?
Well, I'm going to start with when I told you, oh, there's so many to choose from. How do I choose? It wasn't until about 30 minutes before the show today that I finally picked the one I wanted to talk about.
Welcome to my show notes compilation strategy. Yeah.
So here's the deal. Long ago, in internet terms, we had the whole thing where bartender, it got sold, and then we had questions about privacy and security. Everyone started looking for alternatives, and I switched to ICE as a menu bar manager tool, and it's been absolutely fantastic. And it's free, although you can send the developer money to support him, and it's been awesome. That's not my pick though, because the developer of this, he ended up getting a new job that takes up enough of his time. He cannot devote the time to continue to maintain ICE, and it broke my heart because it's really great. Like after bartender fixed the things that were concerning for all of us, I was already so happy with ICE. Even though I had a license, I just couldn't go back. It's like, I love ICE. This is great. Well, now that it's not being maintained anymore, I have hit a couple problems. So I had to find an alternative. And that's my pick today. And it's Barbee. And Barbee gives me what I had in ICE, and it gives me a really nice interface for managing all of my my menu bar items, and it just works, and it works well. And it costs, I want to say, like $5 or $10, or it's not much money at all. So I went ahead and, well, you can download it and try it out for like a week to see if it actually works for you before you have to pay for it. And I did. I paid for it like after 20 minutes. And it's been working great. So I've been using Barbee for a few months now, and I have been very happy with it. It does exactly what I need. It's getting regular updates, and it's been super stable. It works on all the way up through current versions of macOS Big Lake, and it's great. So Barbee.
Barbee. That's a great suggestion, and it's one I have not tried. I've tried Bartender.
Yeah.
I've tried Hidden Bar. I tried ICE. None of them really worked the way I wanted them to work. So I'm going to have to check out Barbee and see if that will do the trick for me. Does Barbee
I'm
allow
curious
you
if it does.
Does Barbee allow you to color or tint your menu bar?
Yes.
It does. Ooh.
You can even
Cool.
you can even put Well, it'll let you add a drop shadow to the menu bar or put an internal shadow, which does this interesting thing where it's sort of like it's brighter at the top and bottom and gets darker towards the middle.
That's
I
interesting.
like that. I'm going to have to try that.
And yeah, and so you can tint the can you tint the entire menu bar? I know, like, if you have it so you have the drop down menu bar pop out for extra stuff as opposed to having everything just show up in the menu bar when you click on its icon, that you can color. And I definitely did. Let me look at preferences and see what it shows for that menu bar appearance. Let's see. You can control the shape. So you can break it up. So it's like you have a menu bar segment at the left side and the right side, and it grows and shrinks depending on how much stuff is there. If you want to do that, then let's see, inner shadow, outer shadow, menu bar color, and
Wow.
oh, you can control your wallpaper in here as well, and oh, how much of a gap there's between your items. And then looking at the menu bar color, it doesn't tell me that I can't, it doesn't let me distinguish between the menu bar and my drop down menu bar.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not sure if I can change the entire menu bar color from here.
I will have to give that a try because, frankly, I'm getting tired of letting Apple dictate which wallpaper I can use simply because I want a light menu bar versus a dark menu bar. And I've come to actually editing my wallpapers with a white bar at the top of them so that I always get a light menu bar. And I don't want to fight that anymore. So one of the things that I've heard some of these tools can do is allow you to color or, tint your menu bar so that you don't have to take on that fight.
Yeah,
any
Bartender
longer.
does that.
Well, I mean, it definitely has the menu bar color thing. And I'm wondering if what I have done with the menu bar at the system level is interfering with having that, because my menu bar is a light color right now. It's whatever the default bright color is. And there's an option in the menu bar settings somewhere so that I show menu bar background. Right? No, okay. So I guess show menu bar background is the opacity setting, and I have that turned off.
Okay. So show menu bar background in Mac's system settings, which
Yes.
that's a Mac system setting now.
Mac system setting.
And it annoys me to no end that Apple still won't give me the ability to color the menu bar. But there you go.
So anyhow, well, you know what? We're going to try it live on the show right now. Let me hop in.
All right.
Uh-oh.
This is why people tune into the live stream.
Let's see. Okay, so we're going to go in, and I'm going to go to menu bar appearance, and I'm going to menu bar color, and let's pick something where it's like really obvious that it's different. Let's make my menu bar red, maraschino. Apply.
Love it.
And so it's changing it for my my drop down menu. But how about if we go back into system settings and turn off the menu bar setting that's blocking opacity, and let's apply this again and see what happens. Is my menu bar red? The drop down is, but maybe I need to play with the menu bar layout. Oh, okay. So what I'm seeing right
Darren's
now,
digging it.
okay, my menu bar should be red. and it's not, because when I'm looking at the rest of the settings, it's showing my menu bar red in the settings. And I just
So-
need to figure out what setting I have
blocking it?
wrong that's blocking it from actually
Yeah,
doing
it's a
that in
combination.
anything other than the drop down. So
It sounds
yes,
very configurable, though. It's
it's
really
super
good.
configurable. So yes,
Yeah.
the answer, Mike, is you can change it. I've just done something that's blocking it from showing up everywhere. And it might just be I need to restart my Mac, and then it'll
It might
fix
work.
whatever that is.
Or,
Yeah.
or not have
Yeah,
installed
probably
Tahoe.
log
Yeah.
out and log in again.
Eric got my
Let's not
snide
do that on the
comment.
show, though.
Yeah, go ahead and restart, Mike. Let's see what happens.
I'll restart right now. Well, I'm eager to give this a try. Barbee is in the Mac App Store. I did not find
Yes.
a website for it, but you did provide a link to go to macmenubar.com, which is a great site, by the way. macmenubar.com/Barbee, Barbee.
Yeah, they give you a little description of it. Oh, by the way, that's a cool website to find
Very
all
cool
kinds of
website.
interesting
Yeah.
things you can do. I believe Barbie is available, but the only place you're going to find it is in the App Store. I don't think there's a separate Barbie website, but there might be. I just don't think there is.
Yeah, definitely worth giving a try. And if it does what you need it or want it to do, $5 is a small price to pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I believe you can use it for free, but you have limited control over what you do.
Cool.
Very cool.
So there you go.
Awesome.
Barbie.
We did get one comment
Sweet.
here that I wanted to share with Jeff before we wrap up here today. This is from Brian in our chat, who says, "It was thanks to a conversation with Jeff and Kelly in 2024 at MaxTalk that I was able to set up a Raspberry Pi for Homebridge."
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Raspberry
Nice.
Pi is a homebridge. Brian, hi. And I have used a Raspberry Pi for homebridge in the past, and I'm not right now, but that's because, and this is a whole nother discussion, I'm trying to figure out what the future of my smart home configuration will actually be. And will that continue to be HomeKit as the primary thing? I am seriously considering, because my HomeKit setup is so horribly broken. I literally cannot add devices to HomeKit. And Apple can't come up with a solution for me other than, well, just reset HomeKit and re-add everything. I have no
Fun.
guarantee that will actually work. Also, no, that should never be the answer. So anyhow, I'm thinking about switching over to Home Assistant, because if I'm going to have to reset everything up, screw that. I'm going to switch platforms, but then use Homebridge so that potentially, maybe if I get lucky, I can keep HomeKit working well enough that I can just use HomeKit with Home Assistant through Homebridge and still have that same level of control that I would expect from like the Home app and Siri.
And here,
But
I
anyhow,
I would have sworn you were already using Home Assistant, Jeff.
and you would think that I am. The problem is that I need to find one of my other Raspberry Pis before I can do that.
Awesome.
You can never
Well-
have too many Raspberry Pis.
No.
Right.
No, you can never have too many Raspberry Pis. Well, then that's going to do it for this episode of Mac Guys Only. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Remember, I do love to get your letters, so if you have any comments about the show, a tip to share, a software or hardware problem with your Mac, be sure to leave your favorites in the comments of this week's show notes found at formacguysonly.com, or drop me a line, mike@formacguysonly.com. And do be sure to subscribe to the show's YouTube channel at youtube.com/FMEO and click that little notification bell so you can find out when we are going live. You can join the chat room and you can catch all the behind the scenes stuff that doesn't make the final cut of the show. Hey, let's start with you, Jeff. What is the best way for folks to get a hold of you if they'd like to talk to you about Raspberry Pi or anything else you are a bona fide expert in?
Well, that's a short list. No, actually, I think the best way, because it would just be so much fun for you to get a hold of me and talk to me about whatever it is to come up and say hi to me at MacStock every year, and let's have that conversation. But since we can't always be in meet space together, how about social media? I'm J Gamet pretty much everywhere. I'm most active right now on Mastodon and PixelFed and Blue Sky. But then if you want to listen to me say ridiculous things on other shows, Tuesdays, I'm on Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices Live. Thursdays, I'm on Dave Ginsburg's In Touch with iOS. And then for the British Tech Network, I'm hosting The Big Show and The Mac Show. Then also, Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch. So, yeah, those are the regular shows. So I kind of get around.
That is awesome. And Jeff, I guess I'm letting the cat out of the bag here. Happy cat. But you're going to be at MacStock this year, and you've got a pretty amazing presentation lined up, which we're not going to talk about quite yet. We're going to let you save that for Chuck's Road to MacStock on Mac Voices. But
Cool.
You've heard it here first, folks. Jeff is
I
going to
heard
be
it here first.
presenting. You heard it here first as well. Probably shouldn't surprise you, though, Jeff.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be presumptuous.
You submitted a fantastic presentation. I love it, and if you want to hear it, you're just going to have to come to MacStock this summer, this July 10th, 11th, and 12th. Right here, right in my backyard, not 20 minutes away from where I'm sitting. You can attend MacStock.
You know, people. Okay, Mike. Here's where you get the unsolicited promo.
This is going to go in the shorts, the YouTube shorts.
Yeah. Okay. If you haven't been to MacStock, you owe it to yourself to go. This is like the best family reunion you can possibly imagine, in a good way, not the dysfunctional way. All the people that you know and love in the Apple community are going to be there. It is so friendly, so opening, or so welcoming. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. So welcoming. It is, for me, going to MacStock is like therapy. I recharge every year. And Mike, I'm so happy that, first off, you did not have the foresight to think about how difficult running a conference is every year, and you continue to do it. So thank you for that. I learn new stuff every year. I make new friends every year, and
True.
When we leave Crystal Lake and head back to the airport, I'm already looking forward to the next year, and I haven't even gotten on the plane to go home yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Thanks
it is
so much,
awesome.
Jeff.
Just go to MacStock every year.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Not to be left out, though. Oh, by the way, mac.conference.com. Check it out. Not to be left out, Eric, what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
The usual, Eric at formaceyersonly.com. That I'm on other things too, but that's probably the best way.
He's on other things too, but he likes to keep
Other
it
things too.
Oh, there you go.
Honest.
How can folks get a hold of you, Darren?
Hi, yeah. If you'd like to wing an email my way, send it to Darren at formaceyersonly.com.
Awesome. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Thanks to Jeff for joining us this episode. And of course, as always, thanks to Eric and Darren for joining me this episode. Stay subscribed, and we'll talk to you next time. Okay, gentlemen, I am going to throw up the end card, stop the live stream, and then I'll be right back again. Bye, everyone. Bye, live stream.
Bye, live stream.
Bye.
Bye.